Hello everyone, how are you doing today? It's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon and Copper Showgirl. I'm currently on my Instagram page live. I will save it and post it to my YouTube, the Renaissance Amazon. So if you're on Instagram, make sure you follow me on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you follow me on Instagram, okay? Anyhow, I hope you all are well. And in case you are unfamiliar with me, I am 80s baby, native New Yorker, uptown girl, Harlem to be exact. Currently a Chi-Town resident, a lifelong lover of hip hop, but a critic of culture. And hip hop is one of those things. And so this summer, I'm just going to a bunch of concerts. Hello. As many as I can of artists that I like, and I'm doing reviews for every single one. I still haven't done my video on Nas, and I probably should have done both in this video. I might talk about Nas a bit, or I might do a separate video, because I saw Nas last week in Chicago in Highland Park, in an area called Ravina, and he was not good, okay? Sadly enough, because I love Nas, but he was not a good performer. But let me focus first on Wu-Tang. So, Wu-Tang Forever, okay? They are going on their so-called final tour this summer, which cannot be their final tour because it was amazing, okay? They were just in Chicago on Monday, July 7th. I saw them at the United Center where the Bulls play. And my first time ever in the United Center, okay? And it was just amazing. It was definitely one of the best performances I ever went to, and I'm going to talk about it. First of all, the audience. One of my favorite things, me being a New Yorker, I love to people watch, right? I love to people watch, and there's such an interesting mix of people at the concert. Now, you always know any hip-hop concert, there's a lot of white people, yes. But with Wu-Tang, it was like I saw this, I see this old white man walking down the street with a Wu-Tang Forever shirt on, going to the concert. Like, you never would have thought this man was going to a Wu-Tang concert. I'm in the United Center. There's a woman walking up the stairs in front of me, and she looked like, no offense to anybody, but she looked like she came from a trailer park in West Virginia or something. She was a really overweight white woman, just looked really poor, like West Virginia trailer park, okay? And she was at the Wu-Tang concert, walking up them stairs, having to take a break every 3 steps because she was so out of shape and so overweight. And she was apologizing to me for taking so long. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. But I just thought that was so dope that she was at a Wu-Tang concert. I saw people, white men that looked like they were in their 80s, I swear, sitting there, dressed up, sophisticated at the Wu-Tang concert. I saw this one woman walk by me. She was so regally dressed. She looked like some Erykah Badu, Brooklyn. Yeah, she's on some Erykah Badu, Brooklyn African Street Festival. She had the head wrap, very, the people who are Afrocentric who never show any skin, which I always do. See, I need my skin to breathe. But a lot of the, thank you about loving this shirt. But a lot of times the Afrocentric girls, they are, they got fully covered up and the head wraps and all that. And she looked so regal. And I was admiring how beautiful she looked, but I didn't say anything to her because she was with her friends and there's like movement. And I was in my seat and she was going past me. Thank you for the skin compliment. I use my own skincare products. If you guys want to know more about it, check out my page, Amazonia Holistica. Right now I have my Sancocha on my skin. Thank you. I'm very much into taking care of my skin. But yeah, she was walking by me and I wanted to compliment her, but I didn't want to disturb her. But then she looked at me and she was like, I love your dress, or she complimented something about me. And I was like, thank you. You look beautiful too, right? And I just thought, I didn't want to, I'm the kind of person, I compliment women. When I see women that look good or look fly, have a fly outfit, I tell them that. And so, but it's like, she looked like, I don't know, it was just interesting. And, usually at concerts, I did videos on the Roots, because I saw the Roots in Chicago a couple weeks ago. I still have to do a video on Nas and Meg The Stallion, who I saw last week, right? But the audience, okay, usually when I did my video about the Roots, I complained about how I can't stand when people be up the whole time dancing and moving around when you have seats, because with certain rappers, especially like Nas or somebody, I don't go there to dance. I go there to listen to his voice and listen to the music. Nas is performing with the Chicago Philharmonic Orchestra, so I wanted to hear it. And when everybody's standing up, they are blocking the sound. Then I didn't want to stand up and have my butt in everybody's face. Then I can't stand being in a room full of people who are all off beat, right? And I can't even do it. Just discombobulated and off beat and all over the place. That makes my nerves bad, okay? That's what the Roots concert was like. A bunch of old white people who are off beat, who are too overly happy to dance, and I can't stand that. At Wu-Tang, most people were sitting down, but the people who did stand up, like there was a dude next to my friend, who he stood up the whole time. He was hyped the whole time, but he was on the groove with it. And he wasn't discombobulated like he was going to hit us, but he was on the groove with it, so I was feeling it. I looked down, right? Because again, the New Yorker in me likes to people watch. I look down. I see this big white girl. She rapping every single Wu-Tang word. Why did Killer Mike open for him? I did not know that Killer Mike was opening for him, okay? I did not know this. So when I get there, and I'm like, who's that? That's not Wu-Tang. That's Killer Mike. Killer Mike was on the stage with some older white dude with gray hair who's rapping too. And I'm like, ask my friend, who's that? And he's like, oh, that's Run the Jewels. He's a rapper producer. He produced one of Killer Mike's albums. I'm like, what? I didn't know who that man was, but he was talented. And the two of them rapping together, it was a whole vibe. It was off the chain. Okay? So then they had this, a long intermission. And when Wu-Tang came out, Wu-Tang looked great. Okay? They all look healthy. Okay? Now we know with hip-hop, rappers be dropping dead every other day, every other week. They're unhealthy. They live an unhealthy lifestyle, doing crazy drugs, eating fast food, not taking care of themselves. Wu-Tang looked healthy. They looked great. Method Man was there. He had his shirt off. The beautiful man that man is, okay? Nobody has sexier men than New York City. I'm sorry, okay? Like Detroit men, they got a lot of swag too. They come close. But New York men, I mean, the Method Mans, the LL Cool J's of them all, okay? So Method Man looked great, okay? Looked great. Had his shirt off, okay? They be trying to say women are thirst trapping, but men do it too, and what's the problem? Okay, because girls like it. So he takes off his shirt with his tank top. He's all fit. Method Man looked great. All of them, RZA, all of them. And one thing I liked a lot, I think it was the RZA, who kept making statements. One time I think he said they try to control women's bodies, but they can't control these guns. They want to control the education, but they can't control these guns so these kids don't keep getting shot. And he's kept making comments and references to gun violence and, really making a statement about it, which I really respected. They had two really good singers, two black women who were singing. One looked like she might have been in her 20s or 30s. Other one looked like maybe she was in her late 40s, 50s. It's hard to tell black people how old they are. Both of them could sing their asses off. Both of them were just regular looking black women that you would see at a family reunion or on the block. Nothing super fancy about them. They could sing. Okay, especially the older one, she was amazing. Okay, she brought the house down with her singing. So they had, I don't know who these women were, but they were doing singing interludes, and then they had live musicians. They had was it a violinist? I think they had a violinist and two other. I think they had some keys. They had some live instruments mixed in. The energy was amazing. Their voices were strong, okay? The exact opposite of Nas, okay? Nas's performance, okay, that I saw on July 2nd, okay, at the Ravina in Highland Park was awful. And I have tickets to see Nas in Philly at the end of this month. And I'm debating if I even want to go because I don't want to see him again, okay? I've seen Nas twice. He sucked both times. This time was the worst. And like I said, I love Nas, but he's a terrible performer. And to me, I don't understand it because it's like, you're not doing shit. You're not dancing. You do no choreography. You're not even singing, where a singer has to have their voice. All you have to do is rap your song and have a strong voice rapping your song, because people like you because your voice is your instrument. So it's your lyrics, but it's the sound of your voice, Nas. Like, Nas was rapping. First of all, again, I love him, but he looks like he's never done a push-up in his life. Okay, he looks tired. He sounds tired. He couldn't rap and get through his song, get through his words. He got the audience rapping 80% of his songs. I don't like that. I don't go to a concert to hear the audience rap the song. I don't want to hear them. I want to hear you. I can't stand when they do that. So Nas was constantly do that. He would say 2 words and then not say anything for like 2 minutes, and then 2 words and not say anything, and having the audience do it. And Nas's show was like an hour long. It was like an hour long. I'm like, how is a show only an hour? And in that hour, you can't even rap? Like, no. Wu-Tang was way better, okay? So Wu-Tang, he was just in Columbus. After he left Chicago, they went to Detroit. Detroit is like a 4-hour, kind of 5 hours for me, because I live in North Chicago, drive. If Detroit was 2 hours away, like the distance between New York and Philly, I would have gone to see Wu-Tang the next day, okay? That's how great it was. And I paid like $42 for my ticket in Chicago. They're going to be in New York next week, but I think the cheapest ticket is like $150, okay? So it's a big difference in price. Even though seeing Wu-Tang in New York, I know is going to be the shit. But seeing them in Chicago, like, that Chicago crowd was off the chain, okay? Off the chain. I sat next to, then I was sitting next to these 2 dyke, older black women. Like, it was just like such an interesting crowd, okay? Going into United Center, they checked every single little nook and cranny of every single little pocket you could have, and that's good because it is Chicago, and nobody needs to get shot, right? Hold on a minute. Let me see if I wrote down a bunch of notes on my notes app on my phone, but since I'm using my phone, I just want to go look. I'm going to look on my laptop. I want to make sure I have all the notes from the Wu-Tang concert. They were just in Columbus, Ohio after they left Detroit. I see Dave Chappelle hopped up on stage with them in Ohio because he knows what's up. And next they have Newark, New Jersey, Philly, and New York City. Okay, so if you're able to see Wu-Tang in Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, or New York City, I highly suggest you go see it because the show was lit. Like I said, Killer Mike and Run the Jewels is opens for him, and the energy is high. They are great. They do every song. Like, the music, it was just great. So let me see. Oh, and then the way New Yorkers love to pay respect to people. People love to hate on New York and think New Yorkers hate on other cities. We don't. The only time you'll see us hate on other cities when they keep talking about us, but we don't. It's just that New Yorkers are critics and we're picky. And just because you think you're the best in Texas or you the best in Mississippi or wherever you came from, the best in Connecticut, and we don't think that, then you think we're trying to hate on your city. No. New Yorkers, if it's hot, if it's not, it's not. We don't care if you're from New York or a different city, we don't care. But New Yorkers show respect. And that's the thing that I care about. Whether it's going to another city or another country, show respect, right? So Wu-Tang, they were in the United Center and they were like, we're in the home of Michael Jordan. Like, they were acknowledging that because who doesn't know, Michael Jordan, Chicago, the Bulls, United Center. So that's where they're performing. They definitely, paid respect to that. Talked about how much they love Chicago, how Chicago always respected them, right? And New Yorkers usually do love Chicago, and Chicagoans usually love New York, okay? Okay, so let me see what else. Oh, I wrote in my comments, no, I don't use the N-word. In all my videos, you never hear me say the N-word. I'm very anti that word. So I definitely am not one to start saying YNs, right? But even though I don't say it, in my notes, I wrote, Method Man, these YNs could never, okay? That was in my comments, okay? Because Method Man just looked like, they don't even build them like that anymore, okay? I talked about the beautiful singers. They could sing. Oh, yeah, they had 3 screens on the stage, right? So they had 2 side screens and 1 bigger middle screen. I feel like the 2 side screens should have been bigger. They were too small. They were like TV screens. I mean, dining room screens or something for somebody's house. They were too small. They should have been, the screens on the side should have been bigger. The middle screen was kind of angled down a bit. But it seems like they're coming out with some kind of film. I feel like they were advertising for, I don't know what the film is about. It's not about, I thought it was about Wu-Tang, but my friend explained, I think it's about a couple of them. There's some kind of documentary film or something that's coming out about Wu-Tang or some of the rappers in Wu-Tang, because they were playing out on the screen. Oh yeah. That was the RZA. He said they try to regulate women, but they won't regulate the guns. Then they try to regulate education, but they won't regulate the guns to stop the school shootings, okay? And so that's a very New York thing to say, because New Yorkers are not as gun crazy as the rest of the country. The rest of the country is like, oh, no, don't talk about that. You know, New Yorkers were not that damn gun crazy, and the shit is stupid, okay? New York is, not saying people don't get shot in New York, but New York is one of the safest cities in America. If you don't believe me, look it up. Go look up the top 20 most dangerous cities in America, top 50. Just put the most dangerous city. New York City don't be in the top 100, okay? So you have mass shootings happening in Philly, mass shootings happening in Chicago. Over the 4th of July weekend, 55 people got shot in Chicago, okay? I don't know if you know, last week, there's this female rapper from Chicago named Mellow Bucks, okay? And I like her music, but at the same time, when I listen to it, I'm always thinking it's so violent. And I'm like, it would be a Chicago female rapper to be rapping about putting people on shirts, which means I'm going to kill you so you could be on a shirt, right? That type of rap, because drill rap did come out of Chicago, and it's ignorant, and people really do die all the time, right? And Chicago is the one city that I know of people getting the shootouts at funerals, okay? So, Mellow Bucks, I liked her music, but I kept thinking her music is so violent. And literally, when I was going to see Nas, that was on January 2nd. Yeah, that was on July 2nd, last week. I was going to see Nas, and I was listening to Mellow Bucks. She's a song with Lotto. And I was thinking, Lotto filmed it in the south side of Chicago, and I'm thinking, I really like this girl's music, but it's so violent. It's just so violent. I can't rock with rapping about murdering people all the time. And that very night, there was a shootout in front of her album release party, which is highly disturbing to me, because her album release party was downtown Chicago on River North, which is a rich area, okay? Pretty much a white area, but rich. Like, if you've ever been in New York City, it's like being around Herald Square or just, Midtown Manhattan or something, right? And she had an album release party. This is not in the hood, okay? And some dudes came and shot up the outside and shot like 20 people, killed 4 of them, shot up a bunch of women was on the ground, shot up, okay? And that was so disturbing to me, because where it happened at, anybody could have been walking down the street who had nothing to do with that. I could have been walking down the street, had nothing to do with it, got shot. Also, because I'm a fan of her work, if I had known that Mellow Bucks was having an album release party, maybe I would have gone to that, maybe not. I'm just trying to be outside more this summer, especially in Chicago. I'm just trying to be outside more. So if I would have known about that, maybe I would have said, ooh, let me check this out. And could have got shot. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy to me. And so I really respected RZA for making those comments, right, in Chicago. Someone said, if her music promotes that, then her audience does as well. She probably brought the energy with her. I don't know that her audience does as well. Some of them, but it's like, there's people that listen to Young Dolph, and a lot of male rappers who's rapping about bodies and this and that, and they wasn't promoting that. You know what I'm saying? There's so much ignorant, violent music that came out in the 90s, the 2000s. And there's people that like it because of the beat and because of how that person is rhyming on the beat. Because to me, it's not always about, when I like people's music, it's not always about what they're saying. Because, for example, with Jamaican dancehall was big in New York City in the 90s. If you weren't Jamaican, you didn't know what the hell they were saying. We didn't care. We liked how it sounded, okay? And we found out that Chi Man, that they were rapping about burn the gays. When we found that out, we were like, we had no idea. And it's like, we didn't even want to dance to that anymore. But then we're like, but I like how it sounds. Like, it makes you want to dance. You know what I'm saying? So there's different reasons why people like people's music. It's not, for me, always about what they're saying. So Mellow Bucks is how she rhymes on the beat and the beat she has. But the stuff she says is way too ignorant, right? And the people that died, they didn't look like they promoted that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a young girl who died who had never been in trouble. She was a medical worker. There was her boyfriend. He was a 23 years old, already a father. He looked like a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Now, who knows what she got going on? Because I think she was the intended target. And Chicago's just heavily ignorant. They don't care. People come to funerals and shoot at funerals, and the people at the funerals pull out guns and start shooting back. Like, it's crazy. New York, this is the one thing. I love Chicago. I've been living here for almost 9 years. But the Chicago state of mind is fucked up, okay? The New York state of mind is way more progressive, okay? The New York state of mind is way more progressive, way more about, like, let's get this money, way more about this don't make sense, way more about kicking knowledge. And I'm not saying that there aren't ignorant New Yorkers, or I'm not saying that, but the New York state of mind is not about that, right? So Chicago's a great city, but they hold themselves back with petty dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, then they had a whole moment where they were saying RIP to a bunch of rappers who died, whether they were murdered, whether they died from health, whatever. Like, they really spent the time to, like, again, the whole thing I said about showing respect to mad rappers, okay, that have passed. Yeah, there was a hip-hop violinist who was amazing, amazing. ODB's son, okay? ODB's son was representing, okay? Filling in for his dad. I find that very interesting because he definitely embodies his dad so much it's kind of creepy, okay? But who am I? That's his bloodline. I'm close to my dad. I'm going to rep my dad forever. So, you know, but ODB's son was a part of it. And he was good. All of them were good, okay? I have no complaints about any of them. I don't even know every member of Wu-Tang. I mean, I know Raekwon. I know Method Man. I know RZA. What's the other ones? I can't think of right now. But I don't know Master Killer. I don't know who that was, but he was there. So there were some other Wu-Tang members, and I'm like, who's that? My friend was like, oh, that's this person, that person, whatever, right? So they were really good. Oh, Ghostface, of course, I know him, right? They were all there. They had drums, keys, and violins. I wrote they did some great things with the music. Ice Cream and Cream, two classic New York songs. I love Ice Cream. Butter Pecan, you know, all of that, like French Vanilla, Butter Pecan, Chocolate Deluxe, like that is so New York City, okay? Because in New York, okay, black dudes dated Puerto Ricans. It wasn't a big deal. Like, we got all the flavors in New York. See, people always talk about what city has the most beautiful women and what country has the most beautiful women. I'm going to say I've traveled a lot in this world, in this country. And I'm going to say some of the most beautiful women I've seen have been in America. Okay. Also Dominican Republic and Haiti, something with that island. But there's beautiful women everywhere. All right. Some places, especially more than others. America, I feel like there's a lot of beautiful women in this country. Some of the most beautiful women I've seen, like New York has a lot of pretty girls, okay? New York has a lot of beautiful women of every type of shade and flavor that you want, okay? Every type of flavor that you want. Which is what was at the Megan Thee Stallion concert. I'm going to do another video about seeing Meg perform. But it was every type of, you know, flavor in New York. So I love the fact that the Ice Cream song, how they give love to the... Because my experience growing up in New York City, now I'm not dark-skinned and I'm not light-skinned, but I never experienced this colorism where people are like, oh, you making fun of me because of my skin color. I never saw anybody making fun of anybody else because of their skin color. Now, I've heard from people who are a few years younger than me that they got made fun of for being dark-skinned. I never saw that. I asked my twin brother, he's dark-skinned. I'm like, I never saw anybody make fun of my twin. But let me ask him in case I missed something. My twin brother, who is dark-skinned, told me he laughed at me when I asked him, did anybody make fun of you because you were dark-skinned? He was like, no. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't see that. That wasn't my experience growing up in New York. But some people can say otherwise. But to me, for them to say French Vanilla, Butter Pecan, Chocolate Deluxe, that's so New York to me. Okay, that's number one. We got all the flavors. Number two, I don't know what rapper says the part they want their titties sucked, ice cream. Like, he emphasized that. Now, whoever said it in the Wu-Tang show, I don't know if it was the same person that says it in the song, because for some reason in the song, I feel like Raekwon says it. But on the stage, somebody else in Wu-Tang said it. All I know is he emphasized that they want their titties sucked twice. And it reverberated in the, and it was like it almost made titties vibrate in that room, okay? The way he said that. I mean, it was like he said it once and he said it again on acapella, and it was just loud, and like we felt it. I think we all felt it in our nipples, okay? That was very powerful and great. At this concert, I realized Wu-Tang is dance music. I never thought of Wu-Tang as dance music. But there were people who were dancing the whole time. Most people were sitting down, which to me, when it's that New York hip hop, that New York hip hop is cerebral. And a lot of times it makes me want to smoke, listen, and bop my head in that rhythm like, yeah. Doesn't make me want to dance necessarily. But there were people who were dancing the whole time. Like I said, there was this dude next to us who was up the whole time. He was rocking hard, arms, everything, but he was on beat. And I started thinking, you know what? Wu-Tang is dance music. I never thought about Wu-Tang as dance music, but people were hyped, and they were hyped. Okay? They had energy. I never thought that a Wu-Tang concert could be so entertaining. Their voices were strong, their bodies were strong, their movements, they were utilizing the stage. It was good. Okay? Oh, and I think it might have been the RZA too. He said at the end of the concert, we came in peace, and we are going to leave in peace. And that's what happened. And so New York is not the rowdy party starters New York is not the rowdy, violent starters that people think. Even with the East Coast, West Coast beef, which is manufactured, and for all we know, Diddy could have been the one that manufactured it all. But from what we could see, Suge Knight came out and he started talking about the East Coast and this and Diddy and this, starting that. You know what I'm saying? When Biggie and them was like, we ain't trying to. So, I mean, and really Tupac is from Harlem. He moved to Baltimore and he was like 14, 15. And Tupac wasn't really a violent person. He was running around with Suge Knight, but he wasn't no thug for real. You know what I'm saying? So New Yorkers, we're not, I'm not going to say we don't have violence and people get shot, but New York is not on that thug life, okay, that gang life, like you find in Chicago and LA, where it's just another level of ignorance. The violence is not like it is in Philly, in Baltimore, in New Orleans, in Oakland, in Birmingham, in Milwaukee. All of those cities, Detroit, St. Louis, all those cities are way more violent, way more dangerous than New York City, okay? And so I love my city, New York, New York. I love the progressive state of mind. And all I could think about is how dare somebody say that New York fell off. When people were saying, oh, Atlanta took over New York fell off. New York can never fall off, okay? Again, what did I say? Pay respect. Show respect. New York City started this shit. A lot of people would be starving right now if New York City did not start this shit and make hip-hop what it is so a lot of people can eat. That's number one. Number two, New York City has more legends than any other city. You can say what you want about Atlanta, but how many rappers does Atlanta have that came out with an album 30 or more years ago that can still go on tour and they're still relevant? Wu-Tang. Okay? I saw AZ perform in Chicago last month, and it was his 30-year anniversary of Do or Die, and he was amazing. And he looks great. Another legend. We have Nas. Even though I didn't like Nas's performance, a lot of people did. People still going to see him. Nas is still relevant, even though Jim Jones is trying to say he ain't. Okay? We have Busta Rhymes. You know, I saw him recently. I mean, there's so many legends from New York City. There's so many legends. And anybody who became a star after that was listening to New York people, so don't hate. Okay? New York is about being progressive. And Atlanta rappers was putting a lot of hits, but did they have battle rappers? Did they have rappers that could really freestyle? Did they contribute to hip-hop fashion? Because hip-hop is not just the rapping. Remember, there's several elements. There's the fashion. New York is the only one who's ever influenced hip-hop fashion. Ain't nobody started dressing like nobody from no place except New York City. Okay? There's the dance. Okay? And New York City has influenced hip-hop dance a lot. There's the graffiti art, which is not so much a thing anymore. the DJing, which also has fallen off a bit. But there's many different elements of hip hop. And Atlanta never had all that. Atlanta never even had a female rapper that was worth a shit till recently. Okay, Lotto. But Lotto is kind of from Ohio, but I mean, that's recent. New York was the only one that had any female rappers that was worth anything for a long time. New York and New Jersey. Newark with Lauren and Queen Latifah and Rod Digger, who's one of the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely see Rod Digger perform. Damn. But, so yeah, don't hate on New York. New York is the shit, okay? If New York wasn't the shit, then we wouldn't have dope-ass shit like Wu-Tang coming from our city. We wouldn't have invented hip-hop, and it came out of gang culture. When the city was being run crazy and people getting killed, gang culture, they decided to squash that and turn it into hip-hop. So now all these gang members who used to be gang members, now they graph art and they b-boying, another element of hip-hop, b-boying, right? B-boying or dancing, which are not the same. A lot of b-boys say they didn't consider themselves dancers. Right now in New York City, if you go on the subway, you see Dominican, Black American dudes on the train flipping off the walls, and that's hip-hop culture. That's to me, another form of b-boying. You know what I'm saying? But a different version of it. That came out of New York. Who else is doing that? Who else is doing that? So don't hate. You know what I'm saying? Don't hate. Don't have an inferiority complex when it comes to New York. New York is the shit. If you're a hip-hop lover and you've never been to New York, why don't you go? If you love hip-hop, if you love all of our rappers, you love Jay-Z, who I don't, but you love Nas, you love Wu-Tang, you love all of our dopies, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you come to New York and see the city that created all this dopeness? Go to Brooklyn. Come uptown, okay, to Harlem, to Washington Heights. Go to the Bronx. Go to Queens. Go see, because New York City is more than just lower Manhattan. People come to New York, they go to Times Square, they want to go to where the World Trade Center is at. They're like, oh, I don't like this city, it's too many people. New York City is huge. It takes several trips, and you got to move around. And you can easily move around in New York, okay? So come explore the city, okay? Because I love my city. I think New York swag is super dope. Wu-Tang just embodies New York. I love the sound of their voices. The performance was great. It's 100 stars, 100 points. I have nothing negative to say about it. It was excellent, excellent, excellent. They all look healthy. They all look great. They all sounded great. The show was just amazing. And I wish I could see it again, but I'm on my way to Atlanta because I got to see Beyonce again for the third time this summer. So I'm on my way to Atlanta to see Beyonce on Monday. But Wu-Tang will be in Newark, Philly, and New York City next week. So if you can go see them in one of those cities, I highly recommend it. I promise you, you won't regret it. And if you do go see it, come back, leave a comment, tell me how it was. And then we need to go beg Wu-Tang to not let this be their final tour. This should not be. They should just run that whole cycle again. That's what I say. Okay, so if you've seen Wu-Tang in this recent concert, let me know. With Killer Mike and Run the Jewels, let me know. Let me know what you think, what you thought. Let me know what city you saw it in. And I'll be doing a video soon on my review of Nas and Meg. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for listening. If you're on Instagram, follow me on YouTube at the Renaissance Amazon. And if you're on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, okay? And I will put all the info below. And I hope you guys are doing great. Wu-Tang forever, forever and ever and ever. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.